they're following me. Nobody's following you. Sometimes it may just be that you're not being intentional about certain things you're supposed to do. And I'm going to give you those tips today, so that when you hear these things, when next you're applying for a job, you can look at these things I'm going to read out today and ensure that you're not a victim of these things. So number one reason why you may not get a job, or you might be getting a job rejection, is a weak resume or a weak cover letter. So, you know, when you have a poorly written, I've seen some resumes and I'm wondering, in this age and time, people are still putting marital status, local government, and I'm wondering, how can you put marital status or local government on a CV in 2023? What is that? And you see some people, the structure of their CV, they may have skills, but the fact that they had their CV or the resume is poorly structured could just put off anybody that wants to read it. You know, just see a CV and you're like, what's this? Why is this scattered like this? You know, sometimes it couldn't be about the fonts you use. You could use a font that looks funny to the person who's going through your CV. So you need to have a well-written CV. And same goes for a cover letter as well. And you know, we live in days and times when, if you're applying for international jobs, a lot of countries have their own formats they use. So if you're using Canada, they have the format. If you're using Europe, they have the formats. So when you're applying for a job, try and find out what's the format that, if it's outside the country, what's the format that this company, this country, what's their format for CV? You know, if you're applying for jobs, all countries don't have the same format. So look for the format that they use, because that is very first thing that can cut you out in a job application process. Secondly, we have lack of qualification. So sometimes some people, imagine someone applying to a radio station now, and what you've done all your life is you've been on the farm. How do you want to do that? So sometimes it's not like you're not a skillful person. It's not like you don't have necessary skills and all of that, but it's not for that job. Because I remember once helping a media company out with perusing CVs and all of that for a job that they were trying to get somebody for a certain role. And I saw some CVs that were really good. I mean, well detailed, well arranged, beautiful. I was even like, my God, see somebody's CV, qualifications on point. But one thing that kicked them out of that process was their skills were not what were required for that job. That was the only problem. In fact, I remember part of the requirements of that job was you must have at least a university degree. And I saw a girl's certificate that, I think, was that Polytechnic or one of these colleges of education or something like that. And I mean, I just put that CV away, but she had the qualification. So I just told my friend, look, I think this person has the qualifications, but she does not have the educational standard you want. And he looked at me and was like, no, this person, I can't mix this kind of person, because she has the experience, even though she does not have the university degree. So you can see, if you don't have the skills for a certain job, no matter how skillful you are, no matter how good you are at what you're doing, it may not count, except they are taking entry-level people for that position. But if it's not an entry-level position, don't bother yourself. So sometimes when you are applying for stuff, look at the requirements. They say 3 to 5 years. Don't joke with that. Don't think, they don't look at it. I don't have any space. They will look at it. They will look at it. And especially if you're applying to a company that is using what they call ATS, applicant tracking system, that would even cut you out entirely, because applicant tracking system has keywords. So if you're applying to a radio station, there'll be keywords like communication, keywords like public speaking, keywords like, you know, how to programs, you know, those are the keywords when you come to a place like a radio station. So when you're applying to a radio station, if a radio station is going to use an applicant tracking system to peruse your CV, of course you're going to go out if you don't have those keywords in your CV. Number 3, competition too. I mean, you could be applying for a job and you're just applying probably at the wrong time. Maybe you're applying, you have just 1 year experience, maybe you have a degree, maybe you have a master's even, but you're applying people that have 5 years experience, have several certifications. Of course, you don't, except by a miracle. Miracles happen, but you most likely wouldn't be picked. Okay, so I have to rush this. Number 4, negative references. I mean, I've had this experience before where somebody told me that her former boss actually cut out of a job because I think they called him to ask about her and what kind of person was she, and I think the guy, I don't know how she left the company, but he gave a very negative reference about her, and that's how she lost an impending job. Okay, so so that's why if you're leaving a company, just live in peace. Don't live in Graga. Even if you live in Graga, try and settle. I've had that issue before. I just tried to settle with the company, because if you don't settle with them, you can't use them on your CV, definitely, because that's going to be a bad review. Trust me, some of these companies will find out what made you leave your last company. Number 5, poor interview performance. You're going for an interview, you don't brush your hair. I've actually missed a job because of an interview. Yeah, it was an online interview that I was doing, and the interview caught me unawares. I forgot about it. I just received the call on Skype, and whoosh, I was in the interview, and at the middle of the interview, I noticed I wasn't well dressed and all of that. So if you, poor interview performance. When you go for an interview, you need to be confident. If you're not confident enough, that can make people feel like, oh, this person is not right for this job. Then of course, lack of feedback requests. Feedback is a very key thing that you need to know. When you apply for a job and you get a no, try and always send a mail. Please, I would love to know why I got a no. It's left for the company to reply. They may not reply you, but do it, because a lot of companies, I know a lot of companies, if you're someone that applies for jobs abroad, they would most times reply you and tell you. If they cannot reply you, they will let you know. But most times they reply and say, okay, this is what you didn't do well, this is what you didn't do well. And lastly, negative online presence. So this has become a thing today. Sometimes when you're applying to a company, they go and look at your social media profile. So all of you that used to cyberbully people, all of you that used to, we're going to talk about something like that today. And if you don't have a good online presence, it could cut you out of a job immediately. So you need to watch what you do online, because it will come back and haunt you someday. So those are the 7 tips on why you may not be getting that job that you've been applying for. I believe that you've heard me very well, so I'll just go through the list. Weak resume, such cover letter, lack of qualification, competition, negative references, poor interview performance, lack of feedback request, and negative online presence. All right, so guys, those are my tips of the day. If you know that you love what I just read, if you know that you want to get more tips like this, you can always connect with me on social media, and I can always even send you this list that I've just read out now. If you want to look at it after the show. Okay, so if you want to connect with me, my handle is at KenzieClark1 on X, Twitter. Yeah, so KenzieClark1, KNZECLARKE1. And Instagram, same thing, KenzieClark1. Alright, guys.